Imagine a world where zombies aren't just creatures from horror movies or video games. What if they were real? Could a zombie outbreak actually happen? And if it did, how would humanity survive? There are strange things in nature, like parasites that control their hosts. Take the Cordyceps fungus, for example. It infects ants, taking over their minds, forcing them to climb and cling to plants before ultimately killing them. Now imagine something like that jumping to humans. A virus, a mutation, a terrifying twist of evolution. The odds are slim, but not impossible. If an outbreak were to happen, it would spread like wildfire. A single bite, a scratch, even airborne transmission could unleash chaos. Picture a densely packed city, bustling streets filled with people, unaware of the danger lurking in a single infected individual. It wouldn't take long, days, maybe weeks, before the infection consumed entire populations. Within a month, the world as we know it could be unrecognizable. The first 72 hours would be the most critical. Governments might try to contain it, shutting down cities, imposing quarantines. But in our interconnected world, where travel is instant and news spreads at the speed of light, containment would be nearly impossible. For most, survival would be a grim fight against insurmountable odds. What kind of zombies would emerge? Some might be fast, with terrifying speed and agility, driven by preserved muscle function, relentless in their pursuit. Others might be slow and shambling, their decaying bodies betraying their monstrous intentions. Fast or slow, one thing would be certain: they would never stop, but they wouldn't last forever. Without food, zombies would eventually decay. In hot climates, their flesh might rot away within weeks. In freezing temperatures, they might freeze solid, unable to move. Nature, in time, would reclaim what the infection destroyed. Survivors would need to act quickly, though. Supplies would become the difference between life and death. Stockpiles of food, clean water, and medicine would be critical. And where to go? Far from the masses, mountains, islands, remote places where the infection couldn't reach. Those left would have to adapt. Forget fast food and convenience. Survival would depend on creativity and resourcefulness. Foraging for wild food, relying on canned goods, and eventually growing crops in fortified spaces. Farming might not sound thrilling, but it could be the key to humanity's long-term survival. Could this nightmare scenario truly happen? There's a chilling possibility. Diseases like rabies already change behavior, turning victims aggressive. And with advances in bioengineering, the line between fiction and reality becomes frighteningly thin. If survival is the goal, defense becomes essential. Picture groups of survivors banding together, fortifying their homes, setting traps, and learning to fight. Every decision, every movement, could mean the difference between life and death. Trust would be rare but necessary. No one survives alone. Even if the infection was somehow stopped, the road to recovery would be long. Entire cities might need to be burned, vast areas quarantined. Rebuilding would take years, perhaps even decades. Survivors would cling to hope, working together to create something new. But maybe that's the lesson zombies teach us. They're not just monsters. They're a reminder of the human capacity for resilience. If a zombie apocalypse ever came, it wouldn't just test our strength. It would challenge our ability to adapt, to work together, and to survive. So, what would you do if it happened?